Boom! Hear what I'm saying to you. I'm Kojey Radical, aka Big Kojey, aka Kojini Houdini, aka Accolades Kojey, aka Been Here, Still Here, aka Trust Me. And I'm here with Mahalia, talking all things love, music, hate racism. We're going to ask each other some questions. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
That was question one. She's doing great so far. Stay locked. I struggled with my identity growing up. I feel like most people did, no?
Yeah.
What, like, you don't really have one growing up. You're growing into it. It's supposed to be a struggle.
Puberty is tough, but I also think that, you don't really have one, but I think people can definitely stunt your growth of like finding it early. Did you grow up in London? Mm-hmm. I feel like that must have been so different to like growing up somewhere like where I did.
Definitely London is super different to the rest of England, I think.
Yeah.
In general, like, identity that I might have struggled with is more so like wanting to be involved or not involved. Like, you get me, in terms of just being gang affiliated, but it's kind of up to you to like say that ain't me, you get me?
I think I just allowed people to tell me what to do, to be honest, which I think is like the worst way to try and work out who you are. I'm definitely a bit of a people pleaser. So I think for me as a kid, my main thing was like I didn't really focus on finding my identity because I was so focused on making sure that everybody else was finding theirs.
Yeah, I get that, 100%.
Do you know what I'm saying? So mine says the music industry is doing enough to empower artists. Discuss.
The music industry is the artist. If the artists empower themselves, then the music industry is always thriving. People just need to believe in themselves more. We are the industry.
I think the only thing to say about that is like, do you believe that we're in an industry that feels like it's a safe place for us to feel empowered on our own?
I feel like those are all personal fears that we project into like the atmosphere and almost manifest them in a way where like for every person that you hear is like that is like a struggle in some sense. There's somebody that just bust through, just went through. Obviously, you can kind of compare the longevity in both of their journeys, but like it doesn't mean that the door's not open, innit? I think it's just people put their own barriers on themselves and say, oh, I can't do this because, or I shouldn't do that because. Do
you think it's different for men and women?
Yeah.
How?
In every way that I can't tell you, because you're a woman. You get me? You got to tell me. Like, I know what my experience is, and I know that there's certain things that are more available for me or a little bit I don't have to think about in comparison to what like a female artist would have to go through.
I guess our responses to that statement will be different, and that's purely based on gender. I might be being naive or whatever, but I feel like as a geezer, there's a way that you can be and an empowerment that you can carry that women can't. As a guy, you can always stand on your own, so you can always go. Like,
don't need no one.
Don't need no one, right? But so one clear example that I can give of this is, so recently I was nominated for the Brits Critics' Choice. Jeez. And there was me and two guys who were insanely talented in their own right? But when I was reading the bios that kept coming out, when they were described, everything that was spoken about was their successes, their touring, what they'd done on their own, everything. And then every time I was described, my strengths only came from that of a man. So I was described next to Ed Sheeran, or even next to you, or next to the men that I'd come across that had empowered or given me strength.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think for me it was like, God, that's mad, because all the stuff that we're talking about that they've done, I've done too.
Yeah.
Double over. So for me, I'm like, I get it. But I definitely feel like there's a differentiation between men and women. And there's a huge gap between how we have to feel empowered.
Yeah, that's existed in the industry for a while, and I think the good thing that I've noticed recently, and why sometimes I just have to respect it and shut my mouth and open the door for it and encourage it and be like, hail it up, is just more women speaking up for themselves and letting people know what their experiences are and what they're not happy with, so that way things don't continue in a way that it's a bit of a cycle. And really it's kind of up to the other side to listen, you feel me, and just respect it. Social media is the best thing that's happened to the music industry. No.
Absolutely not.
Not even a little bit.
Do you know what I was deep in actually? Every time you plan something, a gig, or a project, or a tune, or it's the only way to promote it now is through social media.
Yeah, well, it's the cheapest and quickest.
But I'm thinking, so how do people go on tour? Because for me, it's like, that's what as an artist, that's all I've ever known. It's just posting stuff through social media.
So back in the day,
how did geezers sell out tours?
Yeah, back in the day, like how it was announced. It was magazines and things. People were checking for them things.
But how mad is that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, everything is so accessible.
Yeah, which in a sense is part of the good thing.
Yeah.
But I think the statement was the best thing, and that is so far from the best.
No, yeah.
Because like, I always go back to like an age where like I couldn't wake up and like go on Twitter and find out what Pharrell had for breakfast. Like, do you know what I mean? I had to wait for the album. I had to wait for Seeing Sounds or something to know what was happening next. And there was that feeling of like a reality like existing outside of a digital space. And I think now people are so concerned with how they come across on social media that they forget who they are. Because you can only ever really come across as yourself.
Yeah.
If you're an arse, you're an arse. If you're nice, you're nice.
Yeah.
If you're happy, you're happy. If you're sad, you're sad. Like you can't fake that stuff for social media, and I think people are way too happy to fake it now. But in one regard, it has made it way easier for like grassroots artists to kind of like break through and make a name for themselves and make a presence. So it's a catch-22.
It's just all so like we start something that is personal and then we make it impersonal.
Do you know what I love though is how like something so little could mean something so much to like when you tweet somebody that supports your music and like that's like their thing for the day, like yo, May hit me up today, this is fire. Like that gasses me. That kind of stuff gasses me.
So my next one says the world is a better place now than it was 10 years ago.
I mean, in theory, yeah.
I mean, in theory.
Do you know what the crazy? I was having this conversation yesterday. I was like, what do you feel like the next generation is going to be born with and then born without? It's like, but I was going like super left field. Like I was going like, you know me, late night, couple shandy bass, man's in the conversation mode. I feel like even perceptions on love and relationships and how people approach those in the next generation will be completely different because they wouldn't necessarily been raised on the same ideals that we would have, but we was raised on them because of what the other generation had to go through when they came here.
And it changes every time.
You get me? And what brought status symbols and status in terms of community and all that stuff, which it doesn't exist anymore. And like, I feel like our generation wanted to be lonely so bad until we was lonely. And then it hit us like a ton of bricks and everyone was like, I'm by myself, I have no one, I don't have no one to talk to, I don't know what's going on with my brain, I don't know what's going on with my feelings and things like that. As I like, hopefully the next 10 don't have to go through it. But I feel like it's a buffering period. I remember not having internet.
I remember having a family computer, but I don't know if I had internet.
Do you remember the dial-up noise? Do you know what the dial-up noise is? No,
but somebody was telling me about that recently. I've never heard that in my life.
You've never heard the dial-up noise? Jeez, but you lived. You was living a good life. You don't... Nah, no bells. Don't wake you up in the night. Like, what's that? Nah? All right, cool. What would you do if you didn't become a musician?
I think I'd have probably worked with kids, or I'd have been like a vet. I love animals and I love kids.
I think I don't know. I know I'd still be in the arts.
You would totally be in the arts.
Yeah.
You're an artiste.
I know.
In every form, bro.
Not in every form. I find most industries at the moment need revamping from the ground up. Whether it was like painting or film or directing or something, things have to change everywhere, but we'll get round to it.
What would you say to 10-year-old you?
I'd be like, enjoy the process.
Yeah. You
only get one. What's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah.
As much as I could tell you, don't do this, don't do that, you're probably going to do it anyway. So just enjoy it while you're doing it.
I definitely wouldn't have said, like, don't do this, don't do that. But I think it'd have been nice to have saved myself from
some things.
Just like, and like, I mean tiny things. Like, I mean butterfly effect things. Like not going down that road and going down that road, or like not leaving school at that time.
Or don't get in that car.
Those things.
Yeah. I feel like music has always been a tool to knock down barriers. I remember my mum playing like Sam Cooke, like, get me like records that like were like made for the process of like revolution and inspiring people.
Even someone like, I remember my mum playing me Gil Scott Heron for
Yeah,
the first time.
yeah.
And
Oh man,
like,
that changed my whole thing.
I think you're right. Like, I think it's kind of always done that. My only thing is that it's never been done or shown in a mainstream way. I mean, even like someone like you, Kojey, is like, you have always been a voice for everything else that no one else is talking about. But it's just like, it's that thing that I feel like I've always been missing, is that I have to go and find him, or like I have to go and find that, or I have to discover that on my own. And I feel like that's the problem, is that the kids and the masses of people aren't being exposed to those messages. So I can just hope that me saying that name and you saying that name is going to pass that on to someone else. I do. What do you want to portray?
I've always seen myself a little bit more like a seed, and the idea that I want to grow is quite a simple one, but really it's just about being yourself. And it's not even necessarily being yourself in a music sense, like, oh, just find your own sound, but I think people need to realise that their story is the only story that they have, and I think a lot of the time other people are looking for things to relate to, and if you can be yourself and speak your story and tell who you are, then whatever it is you do is supported as a byproduct. You feel me? So it's not about everybody wanting to become the next big like pop star or superstar, but you can be an amazing hairdresser, but use your story in real life as a way of finding your tribe and building your community and using that to help people. Or you could be a chef, or you could be this. Like, you just got to be yourself, and once you've done that, then
I kind of always felt like people looked at me and always looked at my music as just like a girl talking about how much she hates men.
Yeah.
See? But my thing, and you know, like, I got this guy and he tweeted me the other day and he said Mahalia's music is purely for girls who cheat on their man and want to blame the guy.
Standard.
Shut up, bro. And so now my thing is that regardless of what my lyrics say or how it comes across, I am genuinely here to inspire strength in women, and that's it.
I feel like you do. I
feel like I inspire that in like bro. I meet so many guys at my shows who feel empowered by my music, and that's sick. And for me, it was never about blaming the man in my music. It was about me saying, I need to work out my stuff and I need to fix up and I need to be able to be strong without you. So my whole thing, you know, like, I'm not just this kid who like wants to just talk about love and like talk about relationships. But I also think it's that thing of growth, and it's like, you know, I'm a 20-year-old singer-songwriter and I'm a girl. Like, just give me a sec. Because like the only thing that's important, well, aside from music, the thing that's important to me right now is relationships and is love and is moving through those motions. So I feel like as you go through time, it changes anyway.